So I'm sure you've heard of free trade zones, but have you heard of virtual free trade zones? And the rise of digitalization is bringing about innovations in areas many of us may not have expected. And one of those is FTZs. Now, a free trade zone is a class of special economic zone. It is a geographic area where goods may be imported, stored, handled, manufactured, or reconfigured and re-exported under specific customs regulations and generally not subject to customs duties. But how would this work in the virtual sense? So to cut through all the confusion and break it down for us, I have Obinna Iwuno. He's the Executive Secretary of the Stakeholders in Blockchain Technology Association of Nigeria, SiBAN, and he's also a cryptocurrency compliance specialist and investigator. Obinna, please break this down. How would we have a virtual free trade zone when you need to have a product, don't you? Take us through this.
Yeah, thank you for that. When we talk about virtual free trade zones, I think that people actually get the wrong idea of it because maybe they think the virtual free trade zone means something that exists in like a metaverse or something. But that is not actually what it is. You know, the actual description of virtual cities is totally different from the virtual free trade zone. You cannot actually have a trade zone without a city, all right? So a trade zone actually exists inside an entity. Okay, so a clear example of this could be if you want to go into a virtual city, you live in Lagos, Nigeria, and you want to feel what New York is like. And New York could be created.
All right. Unfortunately, we seem to be having some technical network issues. But as Obinna is saying right now, you cannot have a virtual free trade zone without having a virtual city. And that seems to be the next place. If you haven't heard about the Metaverse, this is probably going to be your introduction to the Metaverse, which allows you to, of course, create whole cities. We know someone like Snoop Dogg, the American rapper, has created a Metaverse. And right now we have a Facebook, one of the largest technology companies in the world, also having its own Metaverse, even changing its name to Meta. But all of this is also on the background and built around blockchain technology, which came into being in 2008. And blockchain has brought so many innovations and products that can become difficult to actually keep up. So we would love to ask Obinna in terms of how blockchain comes into this, and even also the economic opportunities that the global virtual economy presents to African economies, because from virtual cities to virtual free trade zones, all of this is a global virtual economy. So how do we manifest this? How do we make this reality for African countries to benefit? And one of the things that will continue to drive this is the youth population that Africa has. That brings us back to the conversation we had with our first guest, where we were looking at the African fintech and, of course, what comes next after disruption. The young population across the continent who are looking for disruption, who are plugged in online and ready to go, will continue to drive trends, and they will probably be one of those who drives the trends around virtual cities and the metaverse on the continent. But everything doesn't come with good things. There are also a few concerns that have been stated about the idea of virtual cities or virtual free trade zones. I would prefer for you to hear from the experts, and of course they will give you a better idea of what's going on. But we also have a country like Nigeria, which says it's looking at the virtual free zone as part of its economic development agenda under President Muhammadu Buhari. I do believe Obinna is back with me. Let's see if I can get one or two answers from him before we wrap up today's show. Obinna, are you with me?
Yes, I am with you.
All right. Technology, as much as we're talking about it, can also be something that can be a stumbling block. So you were just getting into the issue around virtual cities and how you can't have a virtual free trade zone without a virtual city. But I want to move you forward from that, because a lot of people would ask, I'm here in a real economy right now and I'm not benefiting. So what would be the benefits of having virtual cities, metaverse, and even a virtual global economy that will bring us eventually to a virtual free trade zone?
Okay, so what we are actually basically looking at are cities powered by technology, especially the blockchain technology, right? So you get to have services on the city. The blockchain technology is the invention of Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies started all of what we have today as the blockchain technology. And so we are looking at systems where we have a monetary system that is anti-inflationary, is deflationary and not subject to inflationary fiat like we are using in our cities across the world. But this would be secluded, and it will be enabled by technology. You would have suite of services, internet connectivity. You're going to have different means of transaction. Say if the focus is on crypto, then it's going to be powered by cryptocurrency. It's going to be tax-free, and it's going to be out of the regulation of government in the other, like in all the world that is away from the
traditional world
zone, the tax zone, right? You could go buy stuff without paying tax, and this is to actually encourage and foster the growth of a particular industrial sector that the government is pursuing. Now, there are rumors that the Nigerian government is interested in blockchain technology, and they are trying to create a virtual free trade zone in Nigeria, and that is going to be the first in West Africa. While this is yet confirmed, what this means is that Nigeria is trying to model what Dubai has done with the Dubai free trade zone for crypto, where you have this area that has been mapped out for crypto companies, innovation and investment, and they could come and set up shop there without paying tax to the government. What is the focus of the government? The focus of the government is the growth in technology, the inflow of direct investment, and of course, like Dubai said, they want to make Dubai the happiest city on earth.
Okay, so Obinna. So Obinna, what I need is this. We're going to have to, I think what the terminology is pen. Some people say pen this conversation. But we're going to have to take this conversation at another time because unfortunately time is not with me. And as you're getting into this, as you said, there have been rumors. We've heard one or two things, but there's also the very, very real opportunity that this presents. And also there's a conversation around how Nigeria is pursuing this, possibly when there's still a very active ban on trading or buying and working in cryptos in the country. So Obinna, please, we'll have to take this up at another date because time is no longer with us. I do apologize for that. All right. So we'll make this another day. As Obinna was getting into it, you can see that there's a lot more to this conversation, but time would not allow us to take it. The SiBAN in Nigeria continues to restrict the activities of those who might want to be involved in, of course, cryptocurrency. But now we're hearing that the administration could be involved in setting up a virtual free trade zone, which would run on blockchain. Is there a change in the wind coming? But it's a conversation we'll have to pick up another day. You're watching Business Edge. We'll be wrapping things up with NC4 to watch. On as we wrap things up. Now, Mozambique has announced the introduction of an express train to South Africa and Eswatini to facilitate the mobility of people and goods. Moving to East Africa now, Kenya's exports of major crops have come under threat over increased cases of chemical residue on horticultural produce that has seen Europe impose stricter checks, posing a threat to the country's foreign earnings. And staying in Kenya, the Revenue Authority has rejected applications from at least 540 firms and has recovered 8.54 billion shillings, or around $70.9 million from defaulters and tax cheats. And finally, industry Industry professionals, I beg your pardon, have predicted that Nigeria's economy would be further boosted by the constant rise in internet subscribers, which will result in more jobs being created for citizens. The increasing use of the internet is promoting e-commerce in Nigeria and generating a number of employment that require internet access. And that's the show for today. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget that you can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Also head to our website, www.newscentral.africa, and download our mobile app on Play Store and App Store. You can, of course, download and follow us on YouTube, subscribe there, and watch us on all the platforms we are available. Until next time, I'm Tolulope, Adeleru-Balogun. Do have a good day.